Hey guys, just wanted to let you all know that we now have Cretaceous Cantina t-shirts available in the Teespring merch store. They come in purple and in black. Check them out via the links below. Hello and welcome to Cretaceous Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Primal Attack Massive Biters Sarcosuchus. So I picked this guy up from my local Target. I was very fortunate. They had the entire new wave of massive biters and sandstrike, so I got them all, added them to the collection, and I'm showcasing them to you. So we're starting off here with the Sarcosuchus, which is a species that we saw earlier this year. It made its debut in the Mattel Jurassic World lineup, and now we're seeing it again, maybe a little more quickly than expected, but it's still cool that we have it. Once again, I was a huge fan of that toy the first time, one of my favorites in the entire Mattel Jurassic line, and to see it back again, I'm not going to complain. So the packaging is more of the same Primal Attack aesthetic that we've been seeing. I think it looks pretty nice. Try it before you buy it. On the back side, we can see the dinosaur toy in action. The other item in this wave, of course, is the massive biters Albertasaurus. So just a word to the wise, this does not ring up at Target. I guess newer shipments of these dinosaurs have like a sticker over them. That way they can scan. I'm not sure why that is, but if you do find it at Target without the sticker, you might have some issues checking out, but hopefully, like in my case, they'll figure it out for you. All right, I'm gonna take a moment to get the Sarco out of the packaging. When we come back, we'll take a closer look. All right, so here's our Sarcosuchus out of the packaging, and this is a really fun one, you guys. Like I said, I was a huge fan of the previous release, and we will do comparison in just a little bit, but seeing it here in this brand new fun color scheme takes it to a different level for me, in a good way. The previous release for me was also really fun for doing toy photography, and I'm going to have fun trying my hand at this one. Really love the wide gap it has here at the mouth, just how it's like default, such an open position. That's a lot of fun. Now, Sarcosuchus, of course, isn't a species we've seen in any of the Jurassic films so far. So, like with other Mattel Jurassic toys in which they don't have a film counterpart to rely on, they kind of do their own thing. Oftentimes, they're slightly cartoony, and I don't think that this one is overly cartoony like on some of those other species. Maybe slightly, but I would say also fairly realistic, especially when you look at the sculpt and you see all of these great details that have been implemented here along the body. I also quite love how the back tail is just resting on the surface. It's kind of dragging. Look at the shadow of the spikes. That's cool. It's just like resting here on the surface, and I think that's super fun because that's not something we really see with the Mattel dinos a lot. And yeah, it's a different kind of animal, prehistoric animal. So maybe that makes sense. I'm not too sure, but I think it is something fun to see. Just looking at this head, it's just so fun. The really long snout that this guy has with all the teeth. The little folds here between the jaws, little cheek membranes. There's the inside of the mouth. You see the tongue is kind of slicked. So is the roof of the mouth. They did actually, sculpt the roof of the mouth there. So it's there is some detail there, and you can see that it is also slicked appropriately so. So that is very nice to see. The rest of it, though, just looks really awesome. The teeth, the way that they're sculpted. I like how they're all uneven. They're not all the same length, and that is something that is a little detail that is nice. Really nice. So the sculpt is the same as we've had before. Like I said, there's a lot of nice ridging. There's a lot of nice pebbling, lots of nice striations and detail that have been sculpted into this dinosaur. This is one that would really benefit from like an extra wash if you wanted to go above and beyond and add some of your own paint to it or repaint it entirely. You could really do a lot with this sculpt and get a lot out of it. As for me, I'm happy with the way that Mattel has released the two Sarcosuchuses, so I'm not going to do that. But I appreciate those who excel at that. And again, just so much detail. It's really quite awesome. As you get here at the belly, it gets a little bit lighter, but that's very crocodilian, very alligator-like. So I do appreciate that. It just looks great. Now, once again, they didn't paint the claws on the Sarcosuchus, and that's kind of okay with me. It's not really a huge deal, especially when you're dealing with a radical color scheme like this. And it is a really nice color palette. I really like what they did here. You got a really pure, true purple going along the top that extends all the way down the tail. They didn't take a shortcut and stop it up here. They actually went all the way down the tail, so I do appreciate that. You get like this faint crimson right here along the top of the snout. The eyes are this very vibrant yellow-green color, kind of like a lime green. The teeth are a little bit more yellowy. The insides of the mouth are a mauve color. And then you have this really bright orange here on the sides, and that's kind of interspersed with this more crimson-y color that you have here up top. So that is nice. That's a little flash of color. Maybe wouldn't really hide the animal as a predator as it's coming upon its prey, but it's still fun and it still looks good. And then I really love this blue color that the rest of the animal has here on the underside, going into the upper portions of the body. It's just a really soft blue color, and I think it really looks nice on this particular sculpt. I really like that. I really like it. Maybe not very realistic, but definitely fun and definitely a really nice color combo. Doing something a little different than we've seen before. And that's when I really appreciate these Mattel dinos, especially repaints, when they go a little bit above and beyond and just really change things up. They did that here, and that's good. So for articulation, we do have movement here. This is built into the action feature, so we'll go over that in just a second. So really the only functional movement you're going to have here at the front limbs, we do have nice, those are proper ball joints, so you can rotate them and you can swing them all the way out. And then here at the side legs, it's the same that we often have in these Mattel dinos in this larger scale. They kind of go out, you can rotate them, but not as easily as you can with the front limbs. So for the action feature, we do have a button right there. Now, if we look at the front of the animal, you're going to see how this action feature works. And again, same thing as we had with the previous Sarcosuchus. Press the button, it chomps its jaws closed. It's a pretty smooth movement. And then if you move the tail back and forth, you also get head swinging action. And of course, you can work both of the action features at one time, go side to side and bite. You can also rotate the tail and, kind of get this sort of head side to side action, which I think is pretty fun. Kind of reminds me of when you watch those wildlife videos and the croc goes for its prey and then you see it like shaking like side to side, I think, right? Is that a thing? I think I've seen that. All right, so here's our comparison with the previously released Sarcosuchus from earlier in 2020. When the world was still kind of normal. And you can see that it's a much more naturalistic paint scheme. And that's what I do appreciate about the original release. I can see it passing for how this animal may have really looked. Or on the other hand, I don't know that it would have looked like this. I mean, maybe, who knows? But this just seems more naturalistic. It seems more realistic. And I quite really like that. I do like this too. I think it's a lot of fun. And like I said, I'm glad they didn't do something too similar. If you're going to do a repaint, do a repaint. This is a repaint. They really mixed up the colors and did something new. But because I'm such a fan of this sculpt, I'm totally happy to have this one as well. I just really like the two of them. I think they look great. They're very different from each other, but I'm very happy with the two of them. So if you're kind of on the fence and say, hey, Victoria, I already have a Sarco. Do I need another one? You don't need another one, but in this case, I would highly encourage it because I just really like what they did here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Mattel Jurassic World Primal Attack Sarcosuchus. Overall, you guys, I'm a fan of this release. Yes, it's a repaint. Yes, you might already have a Sarcosuchus in your collection, but I feel this is a worthy one to add as well. It's just a great sculpt. I'm a huge fan of it. It's one of my favorite sculpts in the Mattel Jurassic World toy line. So if they're going to repaint something, I'd rather them repaint something that I actually really, really like. Again, sculpting on this dino has always been awesome. The paint scheme, I think, is really nice. It's fresh. It's a little bit out there, but it's not too out there. It may not be realistic, but it's not really out of bounds either, if that makes sense. So if you don't already own a Sarco, I kind of feel like the other one maybe edges it out just a little bit because it is more realistic, but I think this is totally suitable as well. And if you're like me, you're probably going to get both anyway. So great job, Mattel. In terms of repaints, this is a good repaint. I really like it. Awesome. All right, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure you're subscribed to the Collect Jurassic World podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as here on YouTube. Be sure to follow Victoria's Cantina on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.